Back in 2014, Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Chinese President Xi Jinping partnered up to build a brand new city called Colombo Port. Costing over $1.4 billion, the project promised to bring along a new region for commercial, economic, and residential development. But 7 years after the project was announced, it's still nowhere near completed, with tensions rising between the two nations in charge of this massive project. What happened here? In the early 2000s, Dubai spent tens of billions of dollars to create 3 artificial islands on top of the sea floor, and now Sri Lanka is doing the exact same thing, dredging over 60 million cubic meters of sand and rock to construct the artificial landmass. Sri Lanka had hoped for their new, expanded territory to help grow their economy and bring along a thriving business hub like other countries around them, such as Singapore and Dubai. But dredging all this sand and piling it onto the ocean floor was not the best public image for both China and Sri Lanka. Back when Dubai built their artificial islands, environmental groups were furious about the project and the damage it did to underwater ecosystems and wildlife. 10 years after Dubai's environmental disruption, it's being done all over again, with environmental groups not agreeing with China's plans. In 2015, the project was forced to pause for 1 year, while an environmental impact assessment finally resumed a year later. After all the delays and 5 years of sand dredging, the island was finally finished in 2019. But just as plans moved forward to begin with construction on top of the artificial island, construction was immediately paused, when tensions grew between the two countries in charge of the project. Sri Lanka's citizens discovered that the $1.4 billion project was funded completely by China. This sparked a deal of outrage, with some pushing the belief that the new capital city would be turned into a Chinese colony and infringe on Sri Lanka's territory and its citizens' rights. Even with the ongoing concerns of China's involvement with the project, 4 months later, ground was broken on the first building on the brand new artificial landmass. But why do all these countries keep dredging new land from the ocean? With climate change and rising sea levels, why is this always the best way to expand? To answer this question, we first need to look at all these countries as a whole. Dubai expanded with artificial islands to be unique and promote tourism. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, is not building their artificial island for tourism, but for better access to the Silk Road, and that's why China partnered with them. The Silk Road is a group of trade routes that go from Asia to the Mediterranean Sea. With China now having partial control of a port south of their country, they could dominate the trade in the region. The Silk Road is a major part of China's economy, and they invested nearly $1 trillion to rebuild the Silk Road and placed a large bet that it would pay off in the future. Part of their rebuild efforts of the trade route was partnering with Sri Lanka to have more dominance in the trade zone. China's aggressive development of trade ports across the Indian Ocean makes many nations believe that they are trying to dominate the trade in the region by a very fair margin. Of the 660 acres of dredged land on the artificial island, less of half of them, 308 to be exact, will be given to the Sri Lankan government, while China will have control of 125 acres. In simple terms, Sri Lanka allowed China to come in and build on their land, pay for it themselves, and take a large percentage of it for their own personal gain. Sri Lanka sold its precious resources to China in hope of seeing some economic benefit, when China is the only country who may end up benefiting from all this in the end. As of writing this video, Phase 1 of the project is set to be completed in 2022, with the rest scheduled for 2041, a long time away. With tensions of both countries continuing and construction beginning on top of the artificial landmass, only time will tell if the two countries can get along for another 20 years to finish the project. Whether this project was created with an intent to only benefit China or help both countries' economies thrive, it will be remembered as one of the most ambitious modern-day developments in history, and showed how a brand new city could be constructed directly on the ocean floor next to a country. And whether this helps or hurts Sri Lanka's economy, it's still incredible to see mega projects like this become a reality. While Dubai proved that creating a massive artificial island could help promote tourism, 20 years later, their islands are beginning to sink back into the ocean. To learn more about this looming catastrophe, click the video here. Only a very small portion of my audience is subscribed, so if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.